Good day to you, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Bernard Donko. This lesson is brought to you by the Northern Cape Department of Education in collaboration with Pagama Research and Development. So today we would like to consider measurement as we prepare in our lessons, ensuring that you are ready for examination. So today we want to look at measurement, and under measurement, we want to focus on conversions. Conversions do take a lot of the marks when talk of measurement, because you are going to convert time, you're going to convert measurements. There's a whole lot of points that you need to convert. So majority of the marks that are in measurement are actually focused on conversion. And that is the reason why we are spending this time together to ensure that you are able to understand much better. So at the end of the lesson, the objectives are that you should be able to convert length, you should be able to convert capacity, mass, time. You should be able to convert between the standard unit, be able to convert minutes, seconds, days. You should be able to convert or do calculations that involve conversion from degrees Celsius to degrees Fahrenheit, and so on. Also be able to understand that because it's measurement, there is no way you will finish the question without doing any kind of conversions. The next thing, for us to be able to go on, your previous knowledge, your knowledge about basic operations, different number formats, basic calculations, those prior knowledge are very vital for us to understand this topic of conversions. So let's get into it. Before we go further, I would like us to go through this baseline assessment where I ask you questions, and I'm hoping that you can be able to match the word or words in column A with the correct explanation or definition from column B. So let us start. The first one says circumference. The next one is conversion factor. The next one is when we say format. What is it? Then number 4, conversion. And the last one is 2D shape. So on the right side, you see that I have given you all the definitions or all the answers. You can see there's answer A, B, C, D, as well as E. Yours is to take a bit of time, try to match each definition with the correct word that it applies to, and then after that we will discuss together. So for now, I would like you to pause the video or take about 3 minutes or 5 minutes, quickly go through it, try and see if you can get the correct answers, then we'll discuss together. So we'll come back just after 3 minutes. All right, let's review together the correct way, the correct terms that go with each definition. So when we say circumference, we are saying circumference is the distance around a circle, and that one is supposed to be C. I hope you got it correct. Then when we say conversion factor, we are talking of values that we use to convert or change quantities from one measuring system to another. That is what you call conversion factor. The other one, which maybe you are not very familiar with, is what you call format. Whenever we talk of format, we are referring to different ways in which the same information can be indicated. So that answer is B, and the conversion factor is what? D. So now we are left with 2. When we say conversion, convert, we are basically saying that we want you to change it from one system or unit of measure to another one. That is what we call conversion. So the correct answer was supposed to be E. Then the last one was a 2D shape. Whenever you hear 2D shape, you know we are talking of a shape or diagram that has length and width only. The reason why we are calling 2D shape is because it has got only 2 dimensions. Therefore, the correct answer was supposed to be A. So now let's look at some few terminologies. When you hear conversion, like we did in our baseline assessment, we are talking of a change from one system or unit of measure to another. I've also explained to you what is a conversion factor. We are talking about values used to convert or change quantities from one measuring system to another. Then we have what you call a 2D shape. Like I just said, whenever you see or whenever you hear a 2D shape, we are referring to an object or a shape that has got only 2 dimensions. I hope you understand what you are talking about. It may be length, width, and width like a rectangle, but if you look closely, it still has length and length, which is one thing, and then width and width, it's the same thing. So it has got only 2 dimensions, hence we call it what? 2D shape. Then we have what we call circumference. Whenever you hear or whenever you see the examiners are using circumference, we are talking of the distance around a circle. The total distance around the circle, we refer to it as the circumference. If it was a shape with corners with many sides, we are going to talk it as perimeter. So somehow, some way, when we talk of circumference and perimeter, we are referring to the same thing, just that the circumference deals with the shape that is round, and then perimeter talks of shape with many sides. All right. When you see centi is from a measuring unit out of 100, like century, 100, centimeters, meaning in 100. So whenever you see centi, we are referring to what? Meaning 100. And then I've already explained to you what is a format, like different ways of representing the same object. So I said we are dealing with conversions. Let's go a bit closer. When we have the topic measurement, it comes with subtopics. It comes with various small topics that we have to deal with. And the first one is the conversions. That's why I've shown you here. So when we talk of conversions, what are we talking about? We are going to be working with converting between metric and imperial units, converting speed, converting time, converting temperature, converting from kilograms to grams, meters squared to centimeters squared, a whole lot of them. Then we have to learn about measuring and instruments. We have perimeter. We have got BMI and growth charts. We have area. We have got surface area as well as volume. So you see that measurement is broad. But for this lesson, our focus is only going to be on conversions because that's what we want to do bit by bit. And then we are talking of the first one, which is converting between metric and imperial system. Whenever you hear metric and imperial system, there are countries like South Africa which use the metric system. Those meters, the kilograms, the liters, we call them metric. Then we have other countries like the UK, like the United States. They prefer to use what you call the imperial system. So they measure in ounces, pounds, stones. Once we see those on cups, we must know we are talking about what? Imperial system. So as we learn, we are going to understand that there are certain values, or let's say somebody is from another country which uses the imperial system. Let's say they bring here a microwave oven. You find that the calibration, the way the values are written are not in metric. For example, they are in Fahrenheit, but we use degrees Celsius. So we have to find a way to convert such that we can still use those appliances. That is one of the reasons why we are talking about. So now let's look at some of few tips when we deal with conversions. Once you get your question paper, or once you get any paper that you are trying to solve, this is my suggestion. Write this sentence that I have given to you here. I'm sure you have seen it before. King Henry died miserable death called measles. I'm going to say it again. King Henry died miserable death called measles. So you can see that for each word, I have highlighted the first letter, like the K, like the H, They mean something. So say you want to convert the kilo or kiloliters or kilometers or kilograms. That is the biggest unit. So I've given you 2 points here. If you get a question which is in kilo or something big unit and you want to convert it to small, what you do is you multiply because you want more of it. But if the unit is small and you are trying to take it to a bigger unit, you have to divide. Like for example, let's say you have 4 of 10 rands. If you convert it to get a different currency, like let's say you want 20 rands, you're going to get only 2 because you are moving from smaller unit to a bigger unit. Take note of that. All right. Now, so let's try to bring it a little bit down. Do you see what I've done here? This is what you call the conversion diagram. So if you want to convert distance, length, let's say from kilometers to meters, you multiply by 1000. If you convert from meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100. And then from centimeters to millimeters, you multiply by 10. Which means you can do the opposite. You can do the same thing, but this time backwards. You see, kilometers to meters, we multiply by 1000. Meters to centimeters, we multiply by 100. And then centimeters to millimeters, we multiply by 10. Meaning from millimeters to centimeters, we have to divide by 10. From centimeters to meters, we divide by 100. And then from meters to kilometers, we divide by 1000, like I have shown you here. So what I'm saying is, once you get any paper that is having measurement questions, the first thing I want you to do is to write that sentence. Your King Henry died, miserable death called measles. Write it, because this will help you to know, okay, if the unit is in kilo and I have to go 2 meters, it's going to be 1, 2, 3 zeros, meaning it's going to be 1000. I'm gonna multiply because I'm moving from my left to my right. I will multiply by what? 1000. If my unit is in meters and I have to go to centimeters, can you see it is 1, 2? So it what? 1 with 2 zeros, which is what? 100. Just like that, when you are converting from centimeters to meters, millimeters, that way you will just multiply by 10. All right. Again, like I said to you, you can easily reverse it. So you will be able to do well as long as you are able to learn the basics when you talk about converting. It will help you a lot, my learners. It will boost your marks so much because majority of the marks that you find in measurement questions require you to convert. If you want to convert weight, then remember the first one, we're converting length. Now we are talking about weight. So we are not converting in meters. We are now going to convert in ton and kilogram and gram. But look at the difference. When you have 1 ton, it is equal to 1000, meaning every time you are moving from your left to your right, then you multiply by 1000. If you have a value in kilogram and you want to take it to gram, you also multiply by 1000. In the end, can you see we still have our 6 zeros? Again, you can reverse, you can divide. If you have the unit in gram and the examiner says leave your answer in kilogram, meaning whatever answer that you got, you have to divide it by 1000. If you have the value in kilogram and you want to go to ton, you are also going to divide by 1000. Where do we usually see ton? Usually we see ton on bakkies. They don't usually say like 3000 kilogram. They will say 3 ton. 3 ton means 3000 because it's going to be 3 times 1000. That will give you 3000. How about temperature? We need to convert. We need to learn how to convert. So if you look at this object that I've put on the screen here, that is what you call a thermometer. How do we call it? Thermometer. So you see that on one side, it has got the measurements in degree Celsius. And then on another side of the same thermometer, it has got the temperature calibration in degrees Fahrenheit. So there is a link in the way we can convert from either degrees Celsius to degree Fahrenheit or vice versa. And for us in grade 12, our syllabus gives us the formulas that we can use to convert. So if you want to convert your temperature that has been given to you from degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit, what you have to do is you multiply that temperature which is in degrees Celsius by 1,8 and then you add 32. That is the standard formula which is used. You see this formula that you are seeing on the screen. The examiner can give that to you in the examination. Yours is to substitute the values the way they are and you're going to get your answer. Look at something here. Do you see that it is in brackets? Yes, when you are working, you also include the bracket. Write the values or type them on the calculator the same way that you are seeing it. If you have the temperature in Fahrenheit, but then you want your answer in degrees Celsius, then that temperature which is in degree Fahrenheit, you minus 32, close the bracket and divide everything by 1,8, and that is going to give you your answers. So that takes us to the end of the few tips that we wanted to share with you. Now let's look at some few possible exam questions and how the examiner usually sets the questions. Remember, our focus today is about conversions. So we are trying to get different questions that we can be able to convert our values. Let's look at the first one. South African Bongmusa Mthembu won the 2017 Comrades Marathon. He ran the 86.73 kilometers ultra marathon in a time of 5 hours, 35 minutes and 34 seconds. But look at what I'm doing. You see, as you read, I want you to highlight the key information that the examiner gives to you. It is very important, my learner, because once you're able to highlight, you will know what you have been given and then you will know what the examiner wants from you. So as you read, highlight the key information as well as all relevant items that are needed. Let's look at the first thing. The examiner says convert. Do you see our first question? Convert. But then what are we supposed to be converting? The examiner says we must convert the distance, meaning the 86.73. The examiner wants us to convert that distance to miles, which means that the distance is not in miles. Look at the unit. Do you see that the unit is kilometers? Good. So the examiner wants us to convert from where? Kilometers to miles. How do we do that? It is very much simple. Remember, they gave us another information here. It says you may use the factor. Factor is allowing us to convert from one system or one unit to another system or another unit. Remember the baseline assessment that we just did? We are referring to those information because we explain what is called conversion factor. So the examiner has given us a conversion factor, and the examiner is saying every time you have 1 kilometer, it is the same as 0.6214 miles. So then what do we do? Our answer is in kilometers. So what we have to do is this. You first write the value which you need to convert. In our case is what? 86.73. Then you write your unit, which is what? Kilometers. You are going to divide and you are going to multiply. But because you are dealing with conversions, so they want us to convert the 86.73 kilometers into miles. So what you do, you write the value which the examiner gave to you first. Then you come and look into your conversion factor and look for the value which has got the same unit like the value in the question. Remember, our unit for the value in the question is what? Kilometers. So if you look at our conversion factor, one of the values has got kilometers and the other one has got miles. So which one are we supposed to be using? We are looking for the one with kilometers. So then you write it underneath. You write it underneath your value which you have to convert. So it's going to be 1 kilometer, and then you are going to multiply by 0.6214. Now maybe you ask and say, why are we dividing? Because when we divide, it allows us to cancel the unit which we don't want. So you see now, we are able to change from kilometers. Our answer is going to be in miles. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We are dividing by the same unit so that it allows us to cancel out. The examiner gave us a value which is in kilometers, meaning we have to divide by a value in kilometer, which is a factor. So the factor which is having a unit of kilometer is the one with 1. Then the other one is miles. Then what you take, you press your values. So you'll be having 86.73. You divide it by 1, and then you multiply by 0.6214, and then you write your answer, which is 53.89. So you then write your answer as 53.89. From there, then you write this unit. Remember, they said convert from kilometers to miles. So you write your unit as miles. You are done. Let's look at the next one. The race started at 5:30 a.m. Calculate the time at which he reached the finish line. Remember, now the examiner is asking you about time. So he is saying the person, Bong Musa, ran the whole race using what? 5 hours, 35 minutes, and 34 seconds. And he says that they started the race at what time? 5:30. So what we have to do then is to add the time. Are we together? We are doing what? Add the time. So because we have our calculators, we can easily press the values on our calculators. Now, if you have been following some of our lessons, you will see that we have what you call our time button, which helps us to do our calculations. So what you do then, our time button is on our calculator, and we just use that to help us add. So the first one, we start with the starting time, which is what? 5:30, and then we are going to say plus 5 hours, 35 minutes, 34 seconds. So what you do, you press them. You press 5. Then the time button I have kept on showing. If you have been watching or you have been with us throughout the year, even if you have not, it's fine. You just look at the top of 8. After the 8, there is ENG button, my learners. After the ENG, at the top of it, there is another button which has signs that look like a comma, like an apostrophe. That is the sign which I am busy pressing it here. I hope you are able to find that on your calculator. So I'm pressing the 5. Every time you press the number, you must press that time button. Okay, every time you press the number, you press the time button. So it's going to be 5, time button, 30, time button. My next sign is what? Plus. So I'm going to say plus. What's my next value? 5. You press the time button, you press your 35, you press time button. Remember how I'm doing it. Every time I press, I have to press the time button so that the calculator begins to add for me. So I've pressed 35 time button. My next one is 34 time button. Then once you finish, you press your equal sign. As soon as you are able to press the equal sign, the calculator will add it for you. So what you are going to get now is going to be 11,534. it means it's what? 11, 5, 34. What it means is that the examiner says, at what time did this person finish? The person finished at 5 minutes past 11. So you can even write it as 11:05. Okay? That's when the event finished. But how did you add? Remember, the calculator can do that for us. So what we need to do is to use what I call our time button to add the values together. Like the way I'm explaining now, you pause the video, try it on your own to see if you can add the values together. That is how you're going to become more sharp, more stronger. That's how you're going to develop your understanding. Don't just watch the video, pause it, try it and see if you can get the correct answer. Okay, so let us move on to the next one. I've already done this ones for you, so I'm just showing you how you get to do it. I hope you're following what I'm doing, my learners. These are the solutions, so you can just pause the video, have a look at the solution. I always prefer you do the question first, try it on your own, see if you were able to do it before you go to the next one. Let's look at another possible exam question. How does the examiner structure the question? It says you find the recipe for a lemon pie on the internet. So they have given us on our right side here information that we may need. Look at the first word. The examiner says what? Convert. Convert the following ingredients from imperial. So we are changing it from imperial to metric. We are changing from where? Imperial to metric. You may not fully understand what is imperial and metric, but if you are following the lesson that we are presenting now, you will still be able to answer the questions adequately. You will still be able to answer and get all your marks. The first one, they are saying they have given us 2.5 teaspoons. They want us to convert it to where? Milliliters. They are converting from where? Teaspoons to milliliters. And then the other one is 0.25 cups to milliliters. And then this one has something attached to it. It says we must leave or round our answer to the nearest 5 milliliters. So the first thing we do is to try and answer the question before we can even go to the nearest milliliters and so on. Where is the information that we have to get so that we can answer the question? Look at the first one. The examiner says 2.5 teaspoons. So it means that we need to see if there is any conversion factor from teaspoons to milliliters. Look on your right side. They are saying every 1 teaspoon is equal to what? 5 milliliters. So the examiner gave us a clue. The examiner gave us a conversion factor. But then the question is, how do we use it? So what you do, remember what I've been saying to you. You always write the value which the examiner said you must convert first. You don't start from the conversion factor. No. Once you start from the conversion factor, it's going to make your answer incorrect. So you start with the one that you need to convert. In our case, it is what? 2.5 teaspoons. I'm going to write TSP. We are going to divide. We are going to multiply. Remember the previous question. I said to you, we divide the same unit. So we are referring to this one. They said 1 teaspoon is equal to 5 milliliters. Should we divide by teaspoon or should we divide by milliliters? So I was saying to you, because we have to convert, we start with the value which the examiner wants us to convert. Then we divide by the same unit. In our case here, it's going to be 1 teaspoon. Somebody will be saying, but say, if I don't write the 1, will it make any difference? In some cases, it makes a difference because you will forget which unit you have to cancel. And then you end up writing the wrong unit. Once you write the wrong unit, in most cases, the examiner penalizes you. So I'm always encouraging you to include the unit so that you know, even if it's 1, it helps you to cancel. Therefore, since we have written the 1 this place, it means what we need to multiply is what? 5 milliliters. milliliters. That way we are able to cancel the teaspoon. Do you see how you convert? So always remember, once you are dealing with conversion, you have to divide the same unit. What have you have to do? You have to divide the same unit. Please remember that. It will help you a lot. Okay, then from there, you take your calculator, you press your 2,5, and then you multiply by 5. That will take you to 12,5. Then you write your answer this way, 12,5. Now, once you write the 12,5, remember, you have cancelled the teaspoon. So you write the unit that is left, which is milliliters. You get your full marks for that. I hope you are getting it. All right, so now we have another one, 2.2. I want you to let us try together before we reveal the answer. So it says we have to convert what? 0.25 cups to milliliters. Are we together? So can you please help me here? Let us use the same approach and see if we can get it correct. What value do we have to write first? We write the one which is in the question, which is what? 0.25. We put our cup here. We're going to divide n times, isn't it? So which value must go down here? Good. The one here. We are using this conversion because it allows us to convert from where? Cups to milliliters. So here we are going to put 1 cup. Then we write the other value which is on the equal sign is going to be 250 milliliters. Can we cancel any of the units here? Of course. We can cancel cup and cup. So now it allows us to say 0.25 times 250, and our answer is going to be in milliliters. So let's press them. We are going to take our calculator and we will say 0.25 multiplied by 250, and that will give us 62.5 milliliters. But don't forget what the examiner said here. We want it to be closer to where? The nearest 5 milliliters. So is it going to be closer to 60 or is it going to be closer to 65? I would say it will be closer to 65. So let's look at it. Remember, there's our first one, the 12.5. And then the next one, we got our 62.5. We don't stop there because the examiner says we must take our answer to the nearest 5. So we take it to 65 milliliters. I hope you got that one correct. Now, there is something different for us to try. This time it involves temperature. It says, for making the lemon pie, the recipe gives the baking temperature as 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I've been telling you, I want you to highlight what the examiner gave to you. So you see now our temperature is in what? Degrees Fahrenheit. The examiner says, what should we do? Convert, change it. Convert the temperature to degree Celsius. And then they gave us the formula. So we are going to apply the same ideas that we have been learning. Here, wherever we see degree F, we are going to write the value 350. That's what the examiner wants you to do. So once you're able to convert, the examiner says, round your answer to a number that makes sense in the context of baking, assuming that the oven calibration is in 10 degrees Celsius. We will come to that point. But for now, can you pause the video, try and answer the question so that we can reveal our solutions together. So let's go. We are having our formula. It says degrees C equals open bracket degrees F minus 32 close the bracket, divide everything by 1,8. So what do we put here? We are going to put our 350. So it's going to be, we still open the bracket, but this time you don't write the F, you write the value of the F. In our case, it is what? 350. Are we together, my learners? Good. Minus 32, close bracket, divide everything by 1.8. Then what do you think we have to do? We are going to press all the values together. So again, you take your calculator. If you don't have a calculator, it makes life a bit difficult. So speak to the school, speak to your principal, speak to your teachers. I'm definitely sure one of them can borrow us a calculator so that we can convert, because it's challenging to try and convert from the head. So let's work. What's our first sign? Bracket. You press your bracket. The next value is 350. They said we must say minus 32. Then you close the bracket. After you close the bracket, you press the divide sign. Then you press 1,8. Meaning you must press what you see there one by one. Don't rush, because you will end up making mistakes. So when you press all, you press your equal sign. Now your answer is 176,67. Good. It is now in degree Celsius. So the question is, the examiner says round your answer that to a number that makes sense. Should we take it as 176 or 180 or 170? Which one do you suggest? Good. It is going to go to 180, because remember the examiner says our oven is in calibration of 10 degrees. So either we take to 170 or 180. But in our case here, we are more closer to 180 because our value is already 176. Even if we rounded to a whole number, that was going to be 177. 177 is more closer to 180 compared to 170. All right, now let's look at some more questions then. Jamison will win a club cycling trophy if he is able to log at least 600 kilometers. Do you see what I keep doing? Every time the examiner gives me the value, I circle it. And I want you to get into that habit. Circle the value which you need to work with. All right. If he is able to log at least 600 kilometers of cycling distance in a period of 7 months. So they have given Jamison a time of 7 months. He must be able to win a club cycle for about 600 kilometers in that period of 7 months. This is how he cycles. The Vineyard race in February was 75 miles. The ocean to ocean race in March was 114 kilometers. The Karoo Fun race in April was 271 kilometers. And then the Charity Fun Spirit was 148.1 kilometers. That was his last race in June. So yes, he has been racing in the period of 7 months. But what is the catch here? Look at the values closely. One of the values is in miles. It's not the same. This one is in miles. The rest are kilometers, meaning it's easier for us to add all of them together. No problem. But the one which is in miles is requiring us to convert. So take note, the examiner is saying every 1 kilometer is the same as 0.6214 miles. What is this value again? We call it the conversion factor. How do we call it? Conversion factor. That is the value which allows us to convert either to miles or convert to kilometers. So let's look at our question then. The examiner is saying, calculate in kilometers the distance he cycled in the vineyard. But what was the key? Our answer should be in kilometers. So then you highlight that one. Therefore, which of the values do we need to convert? Good. The first one, the 75. We need to convert the 75 from miles to become kilometers so that we can add it to the rest of the values. So can you pause the video? Let us work together, then we will come back and reveal the answer. All right, so this is how you are supposed to do the conversion. Remember what we have been doing previously. we take the value which the examiner wants us to convert. We write that one down first. So our value is what? 75 miles. Meaning we have to divide, we have to times. Always, we have to divide and we have to times, all right? So because our value is in miles, we need to divide it by something or a conversion factor which has also got miles. We cannot divide miles in kilometers. It will bring problems to us. So what you do, you go to your conversion factor, write the value whose unit is miles. In our case, it is what? 0.6214. You write your miles. We have to multiply, so we are going to multiply by 1 kilometer. Once you divide the same unit, it allows us to cancel the unit which we don't want. The examiner says our answer has to be in kilometers. Do you see? So then from there, what you do, you start pressing them. You don't press the units, you press only the numbers. So you press your 75, press your divide 0.6214, and then you multiply it by 1. So that will give you 120.695. You write it down this way: 120.695, which you can easily round it to 121 kilometers. If you round it as a whole number, you can easily round it as 121 kilometers. Are you getting the idea of how you have to do the conversion? You are getting there. Just keep on practicing. Pause the video, do it together. Pause the video, get it together. So now that we have got the first rates in kilometers, it means we can now add all our values together. So let's add together. Then what we have to do now, we are going to have received the first 120.695, 120.7. We can then add everything together. Okay, so let's go back and see again. It says calculate in kilometers the distance he cycled in the vineyard. So we are only referring to the vineyard, not everything. But definitely the examiner is asking a different question now. Let's look at 4.2. Now that we know the answer, it says hence. So every time the examiner starts with hence, it means use your previous answer to come and do something next. That's what they're saying. Use whatever value you got previously to bring it to this one to solve a problem. So it says hence determine the total distance. Are we together? Determine what? The total distance, meaning we have to add everything together. So it means here, remember we got 120.7 kilometers. So if you have that, we are going to now add all our values. Can you please pause the video and quickly add the values so that we can see if we are correct? Pause the video, we'll just review quickly together. So if you have done the work, then this is how it's going to be. So it's going to be the first one, which was 120.7, the 114, 271, 148.1. Everything is going to be what? 654.1 kilometers. Now, let's look at something here. Even if you left it at 654.4 or 64.095, the examiner was still going to accept, because you have done all the calculations correct, and therefore it is very easy for the one who is marking to give everything to you. All right, so now let's look at another question. Question 5. The highest worldwide 24-hour rainfall, 72 inches. When was the 72 inches recorded? It was measured on the Reunion Island. The examiner is saying, determine the difference. So whenever you hear difference, it means the examiner wants you to subtract. Okay? When you hear difference, they want you to do what? To subtract. So the examiner says, determine the difference between the worldwide record and the highest 24-hour rainfall in South Africa, which is 597 millimeters. So we have one value which is in inches and the other one is in millimeters. Look at here. The examiner says every 1 inch is the same as 25.4 millimeters. So then how do you do this? Again, I'm referring to what we have been doing before. We are going to divide, we are going to multiply. So I'm giving you just 2 minutes. Can you see if you can put it together quickly so that we will reveal the answer together? Just try it. Even if you haven't challenged, keep trying it. We'll reveal the answer together and you will see that you are building your confidence. You are doing well. All right, welcome back. So this is how you are supposed to do it. Remember the value is what? 72 inches. So you must divide and multiply. What are you dividing with? You are dividing the value which is the same unit. So we will divide here by 1 inch. Then we multiply this side by 25.4 millimeters. Which of the units should we cancel, the inches or the millimeters? Good, the inches, because they are dividing each other, so they cancel out. Meaning our answer is going to be in millimeters. Once you finish this way, I want you to take your calculator, you press 72, you divide it by 1, you multiply everything by the conversion factor, which is 25.4. So now we are going to have 1,828.8. So now we have 1,828.8. But this time is in what? Millimeters. So now you've managed to convert the height from inches to millimeters. But you have not finished solving the question. The examiner says find what? The difference. So remember what I said to you. Once the examiner says find the difference, they want you to subtract. What do they want from you? To subtract. So can you see we've got our 1,828.8 millimeters. So now we are coming to find the difference. We subtract the small value from the big value so that we don't get a negative. Are we together? So we are going to say 1,828.8 minus the 597, and that will give us 1,231.8 millimeters. If you can do this, you can definitely score as many marks as possible in the examination, because I believe in you. I know you have been pausing the video, I know you have been watching, and I know you are improving. That is what we want from you. Keep up the good work. All right, let's look at another question then. A household consists of 4 people. Take note, how many people? They are 4. So in the method, every time you read, the examiner gives you clues. The examiner gives you some things, some information that can help you answer the question. Never forget that. All right. The reading on their meter, their water meter at the beginning of January was this: 0.08945 meters cubed. On the last day of the month, it was now 0.08969 meters cubed. So it has shifted, it has moved. Remember the water meter, or like the electricity meter, we are not allowed to tamper with it. We cannot make it go backwards. It keeps on adding. Whatever we have used, it keeps on becoming more and more and more. So when we started, it was 8945. Now it is 8969. So look at what the examiner is asking you now. It says, calculate how many liters of water was used during the month. Liters. But something is different. In the question, the examiner said meters cubed. But now they are asking something different. They are saying the answer must be in what? Liters. So as you read, you try to pick the few information which the examiner gave to you. I hope you are understanding what I'm saying here. They give us the value in meters cubed, but they want the answer in liters. That is why the examiner says you may use 1 liter equals 0.001 meters cubed. They are giving us something to help us. What is that something? It is the conversion factor. So let's see if we can get it right now. So what you do, remember what I've always been telling you, we are always going to find out the information, but we divide the same unit. However, in our case, we have to find out how much water was used first before we can convert. So what you do, you start with the last value, the bigger one, which is 0.08969 minus where we began, which is 0.08945. You don't even have to bring all the zeros. You can just say 8969 minus 8945. So let us press together. We are going to say 8969 minus 8945. It means we used about 24. So now our answer is what? 24 meters cubed. Good. We've got the answer. That is the one which the examiner said they want us to change from meters cubed to become what? Liters. Does it make sense to you? Now that you know your answer, you can do the conversion like we have been doing before. You're going to divide, you're going to multiply. Divide what? We are going to take that same 24 meters cubed, divide, multiply. Divide by the same unit. So you come to your conversion factor. Do you see that? We have a value which is having the same unit. So we are going to say divide by 0.001 meters cubed. Then we times it by 1 liter. Meaning that the meters cubed will cancel meters cubed. Then you press and get your answer. Can you see it's very easy? You can easily do it. You just pause the video, look at how I'm doing it, and try it. You will be fine. Look at the second one. Determine the average water usage in liters per person. Meaning we need our answer from 6.1 to help us find the answer from 6.2 because we know there are 4 people in that house. So let's look at how you were supposed to deal with that. All right. Do you see the 24? We use 24 meters cubed. And now we know that every 1 meter cubed is the same as 1,000 liters. So all we have to do is to multiply the 24 by 1,000. And that is going to give us what? 24,000 liters. Meaning for the 4 people in that month, they used how much water? 24,000 liters. Now look at 6.2. The examiner is saying, we want you to tell us how much water was used per person in that month. So we're talking about the month of January. So we know that the month of January has got 31 days. So if you have used 24,000 liters, you have 4 people. Then this is how you do it. You are going to take the 24,000, you divide it by the number of days so that we get to know how much water was used per day. Does it make sense to you, my learners? We take that 24,000 which was used in the whole month of January. Then we divide it by the number of days in January. That's why you see me having 24,000 divided by 31. Meaning that per day, they used about 774.193 liters. Now we come to how much water was used by 1 person. So what we do, we are going to take that 774.193, we divide it by the number of people in that house. How many? There are 4. That's why you see me writing 4 people. It means that 1 person used about 193.548, which I will round up to 193.55 liters per person per day. 1 person used how much? 193.55 liters per day. I hope you got these ones correct because they are very, very important. If you get them correct, I promise you, you are going far. In your prelims and all the other exams, you're going to score like nobody's business. Let's look at question 7. A farmer in the United States of America uses the containers below to store and supply milk to local factories. So they gave us the information here, and then there's note. They are saying 1 gallon is equal to this much liters, 1 inch is this much centimeters, 1 millimeter is equal to what centimeters cube. Look at our first question. Convert 55 gallons to liters. So they want us to do what? Convert it from where? Gallons to liters. This one, I want you to work it on your own so that we can reveal the answer together. Just give yourself 2 minutes. You know what you have to do. You divide and multiply. Divide and multiply. But you always start with what the examiner wants you to convert. You don't start from the conversion factor. So let's go 2 minutes. We come back. Okay, welcome back. So this is how you were supposed to do it. The 55 gallons, we are going to divide it by 1 gallon because we divide the same unit. You multiply by 4,546092 and our answer is going to be 250.03. But the examiner says we must leave our answer to the nearest whole number. Therefore, we are going to leave it as 250 liters. How about the second question? It says you must write down 2 dairy products that can be produced using milk. Maybe you know a whole lot of other ones, but I've just given you 2 here. Cheese, yogurt, they contain milk. We can make milk, cheese and yogurt from the milk that is produced. I hope you are getting them correct. All right, let's take 7.3. Show. So once the examiner show, it means that the examiner already knows the answer. They want you to prove, they want you to work towards getting that answer. So they said, show by means of calculation that the IBC, this one, the IBC tote can hold more than 310 gallons of milk. You may use the formula, volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. And this one is from a past examination paper, and the examiner is giving us about 6 marks. I wish you can give it a try and let's see how you can do it. Can I give you just 3 minutes? Try it. We will reveal the answer together because I believe in you. Now that you are able to convert gradually, I am having full confidence in you because all the values are here. Just try and see if you can answer them. Remember, the measurements are in inches. Are we together? But then our answer has to be in gallons. So don't forget to convert all your measurements from inches to gallons, like what we have been doing before, so that we can be able to get it. So this is how it's supposed to look like. Can you see we have 48, the length, we have 40 and 46. So what you needed to do is convert all of them. And I hope you got these ones correct. Because if you got them correct, you're almost finished. Now that all your measurements are in gallons, in centimeters, we are going to multiply them. Look at something here. We have 121.92 multiplied by 101.6 multiplied by 160.84. That gave us 1,447,305.492. But now our answer is in centimeters cubed. So what we do now, we are now changing. How am I talking about? Look at here. If you look at the last conversion factor, you will see that every centimeter cubed, every 1 centimeter cubed is the same as milliliters, meaning the only thing that changes is the unit. Okay, so that same 1 million centimeters cubed is now 1,47305,492 milliliters. The unit has just changed. So now I'm changing it from milliliters to liters so that it can allow me to change from liters to gallons. Are we understanding each other? We are taking it from centimeters cubed to milliliters. Then from milliliters to liters. And finally from liters to gallons. So now we are here. To change from milliliters to liters, we divide by 1000. Remember, King Henry died, miserable death called measles, that we did initially. Yes, we bring it here. So we divide by 1000. Now our answer is 1447.3625612, but it's now in milliliters. So what we have to do now, we are changing from liters to gallons. Are we there, learners? So what we need to do now, we are going to divide liters by liters. That's why you see me dividing by 4,546092, meaning that our answer is now going to be in gallons. It looks a lot. It is not really a lot. I think if you can try to break it down bit by bit, look at what I've done. The first, get all your marks for the conversion is out of the way. Then you convert from centimeters to millimeters cubed. Once you can do that, you can easily convert to liters, then to inches, and then to gallons, and then you are done. So it is not very complicated. These are questions that boost your marks. These are questions that take you far, and I hope that you always give it a try. Let's look at 7.4. The farmer decided to paint the total external surface area of the drum. So now we are painting to keep it away from rusting. The spread rate of the paint is 2.5 meters squared per liter, and the paint is sold in 1 liter tins. Our job is to calculate how many tins of paint will need to be bought so that we can paint the drum. Then the examiner gave us our formula. So all we have to do here is to substitute values. But look at something. The height is 33. They gave us 22.5 inches. So that 22.5, it is diameter. But you look at our formula, there's no diameter. There's only radius. So how do we get radius from diameter? Good, we divide it by 2. So we are trying it together. Here I'm giving you 5 minutes. Can you give it a try, and then we will do it together. Welcome, learners. So this is how you have to do it. First thing, we are going to get 11.25. You'll be saying, sir, where did we get it? Remember, our diameter was 22.5. So I've divided it by 2. That's why you see me getting the radius of what? 11.25. Then, because it is in inches, I convert it to centimeters. So now we have the radius in what? Centimeters. If you see me writing 0.28575 meters, meaning I'm converting from where? Centimeters to meters. King Henry died, miserable death called measles. So converting from centimeters to meters, I just divided it by 100. That's why you see these values. All right. So now the next one is to take the height, convert it from inches to centimeters to meters. Now that you have all your values, because the examiner wants the answer in meters squared, that's why we are doing so much of conversion. What we do now is to substitute in the formula which the examiner gave to us. So we take each value, place them there. When you see radius, can you see my radius is squared? When you are pressing, there is nothing fancy. Try to take your time, press all the values correctly to avoid making mistakes. So all these values here, when I press, I get this one. All the values here, when I replace them, I am getting this value. What am I doing next? Now I have got 2.018224.189, but the answer is in what? Meters squared. Okay, we are buying the paint, but the paint is not in meters squared. So the examiner says every 2.5 meters squared, we use 1 liter. So if we are painting 2.018, then what you do is meters squared divided by meters squared. So it means we are going to need only 0.81 liters of paint. Go back. The examiner is saying we sell the paint only in 1 liter tins and we need 0.81, meaning it's not even 0.9 yet. So the best thing to do is to just buy 1 liter of paint. That's why you see that I'm having 1 tin of paint, and then that's it. You are done. Look at how many marks the examiner gave to us. It's a lot of marks because there was a lot of information required. How do you grasp all this in your head? Well, it's easy. Try to go step by step. First thing, convert all your values from inches to centimeters to meters, because your final answer has to be in meters. So it's very key that every value that you were given, convert it from inches to meters. From there, you substitute. Once you're able to substitute, you will know how much space you have that you have to paint. Meaning all the drum is that 2.018 meters squared. So now what do? We divide it by 2.5. Where do we get 2.5 from? The examiner gave to us. Meaning that's our conversion factor. Every liter uses 2.5 liters, a meter squared. So now that we have learned enough, let's summarize. When you are converting, I have left you here with what you need to convert. Again, King Henry died miserable death called measles. Because I don't want you to forget, I am leaving you information here. What's the general method of converting? If you are converting from something big to something small, you multiply. If you convert from something small to something big, you divide. And that is what will help you. So for you to further your knowledge about conversions, I have left you with some homework that I want you to do so that you can become a better candidate. If you look at what I have here, we have different sizes of items and different prices. And I'm asking you, which tin is the most economical? Whenever we talk of most economical, what I mean is we want the one that you spend less to get more out of. That's what you call about most economical. So let's talk of the preview to the next lesson. In the next one, we want to be looking at perimeter and area. I hope you are preparing yourself so that you don't miss this lesson. Well, learners, thank you so much for staying with me up to this point. We shall see ourselves again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.